Hello and welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Millie, and in today's video I'm going to be swatching all my cream blushes, and I'm also going to be ranking all of the formulas. So as you can see, I have quite a bit of cream blushes. My obsession began, I would say, about almost 2 years ago, and I do have oily skin, but it is mostly in the T-zone, so that doesn't really affect my cheeks, and I just much prefer looking dewy and healthy and shiny, if you will, then matte. And I feel like cream formulas just really blend into your skin and just look so natural. So let's get into the swatches and then I'll rank them at the end. So first I'm going to swatch the sticks or anything with an applicator. So here is ColourPop 25-8. This was one of their first releases of blushes, so I'm not even sure if they make this shade anymore. Next up is Cool It. And then Mini Me. Wet n Wild Kiss Me If You Can. This is such a true cool toned pink. Next up is Spring Dust from this brand that I don't think anyone's really heard of. I got these from Octoly, and the brand is M2U NYC. And they started a brand and they launched, I believe it was the last year. And these are actually really nice and super pigmented, as you can see. I believe they had 3 shades. I kept 2 out of the 3 because the third one was too dark for me. And next up is Fairy, also from M2U. Nude Sticks Sunset Strip. Nude Sticks Tiger Lily Queen. I love this shade. Oh, it's so beautiful. And this one's very dewy. Rare Beauty and Bliss Rare Beauty Joy. These are extremely pigmented. I have to go in with such a light hand. Now, this shade looks very similar to this shade, but this one is more pinky versus this one's definitely more orange. Here's the first batch of swatches. I think these are all pretty different. Take Nectar from M Cosmetics. Sunset Sky from M Cosmetics. This applicator is literally the worst. Kaja Koi, and this is like a sponge. So this one's very sheer. Illamasqua Tonic. Flower Beauty Nectar. Tower 28 Magic Hour. Tower 28 Happy Hour. Tower 28 Golden Hour. Salt New York Peach. Salt New York Coral. These are very sheer but very buildable. Salt New York Tangerine. And lastly, Salt New York Lilac. So here's a second batch of swatches. These are definitely getting a little bit similar. Milani Merlot Moment. These are super pigmented. I do have a video up where I cheek swatch the e.l.f. Putty Blush with the Milani blush since they kind of came out around the same time. Blushing Berry, Coral Crush, and Nude Kiss. Next on to the e.l.f. Putty Blush. This is Bahamas, Fiji, Turks and Caicos, Bora Bora, and lastly Tahiti. Here's a third batch of swatches, and lastly I'm going to swatch all the Fenty cream blushes together. Switching arms, the other one's a little tired. This is Fuego Flush, and this one has some sparkles throughout it. Then we have Summer Wine, Drama Class, Petal Poppin', Daiquiri Dip, and Strawberry Drip. So here's the last of the swatches. So now let's get into ranking. Obviously I have some more blushes from different brands, so some of these I only have one. So keep that in mind. It's not like I've tried extensive shades from, for example, the Wet n Wild or the Flower Blush Balm, but I'm just gonna be ranking these in my collection basically. So in last place we have these M Cosmetics serum blushes. I was so excited for these, but not only is the packaging just awful. I'm sure you've heard by now, everybody struggles with it. It's such a pain. I don't know why they haven't fixed it. These are not really cheap. I believe these are $25 each. And I don't like these at all. As you can see, they're very runny and they're sheer. I mean, hence the, serum part. However, these always take my foundation off. I cannot get these to work. No matter what I do, these will always make my foundation patchy. So the only way I would wear these is if I had no foundation on and my skin was perfect and I just wanted a little bit of a flush, but didn't have to worry about them disturbing anything underneath, which doesn't really happen often or ever. So these are my least favorite from my collection. And then next up is the Illamasqua Color Veil in Tonic. I don't love this formula. I feel like I have to be really careful on how I apply it so it doesn't get patchy. It's really, really sticky and tacky, and I don't really love that. I just want something really easy to put on, preferably with a finger or a sponge, and don't have to really worry about anything. I do like that it's sheer and it's buildable. Next up, I'm going to put this Wet n Wild Cheek and Lip Tint. Honestly, I don't know what possessed me to buy this. I just mostly don't love the color. I don't mind it as a blush. It's really, really creamy. I don't reach for this over the other blushes that I have in my collection, so that's why it's ranking second to last. But other than that, it's nothing really special. So next would be the e.l.f. Putty blushes. I think they're very affordable. They have a lot of different shades. I don't really like that they feel like they're putty primer. I just feel like that leads it to be possibly patchy, and they are pretty sheer, like they don't pick up that well, so you have to go in and build up a lot. And it's weird because now when I touch it, they feel more matte and almost like powdery. I don't know how to explain it. Just basically, if you have an experience with their putty primer, you'll know exactly what I mean. So I don't love these, and you have to kind of build these up, which is fine for some days again when I might not feel like I want a lot of blush on, but these are just not really something I reach for because I just have other formulas that I prefer that are easier and just more enjoyable for me to use. All right, so from now on, it's really hard to rank these because I do prefer some of these over each other for different reasons, such as also depending on the day and the mood I'm in, or whatever kind of look I'm going for, what the shade is versus what the formula is and how I apply it. So none of these NYX blush formulas are necessarily like really bad or something, and that's why they're ranking low. They're just ranking because I need to rank them somewhere kind of thing, but obviously because I just have more favorite shades and formulas of blushes. So next up is ColourPop, and these are okay. They're pretty sheer, I would say. They're very, very foolproof. So these are very easy if you're just trying to get into cream blushes or you just want to try out a cream blush. I think these are very affordable and they're nice. You get a lot of product. They have a lot of shades. And the reason I'm ranking them lower is because they're buildable, but like not to the point that I would like them to. I think they kind of just max out at a certain level, and I do prefer to just be able to layer and layer and layer as much as possible in case I really want to go for a more editorial look where I have a lot of blush on. But also I do feel like these do not last on the face as long, especially if you're using these over like a dewy foundation. They just will kind of disintegrate after, you know, a whole day of wear. Next up is this Kaja Cushion blush, and it's exactly for the same reason. I got this blush like right around the time I was starting to slowly get into cream blushes. So this one at the time, I absolutely loved it. Very sheer, kind of buildable, but not really, but I really like the shade on me. I think it's subtle enough, so for days where I don't feel like having a lot of blush or I just want something easy, it's good for. But otherwise, it's not my favorite because, again, just like the ColourPop, it does kind of just max out in pigmentation. I think it might just be probably this shade in particular because I don't have any others and I don't really plan on it. And also, this part has hardened now, or it's kind of already been hard, but the product has hardened on it, so it doesn't have the same ease of use because I did like to stamp this on and then blend it out with my finger, but that's not really possible anymore. So it's just kind of annoying that this thing is just so big when you can't even use the applicator forever. Next up, I'm going to put these two M2U NYC random cream blushes that I have. I absolutely love the orange one, like honestly probably one of my favorite orange blushes, but I don't really reach for these. These are really, really pigmented, which I do like, but I have to go in with a light hand. But I prefer other formulas in my collection over these two. All right, it's getting really, really hard to try to rank these. So next up is Rare Beauty. Again, I love these. These are so pigmented to the point where I have to be super, super careful because I am so pale. So these are just like pure pigment on my cheeks. So I have to be really careful, which sometimes is just a downfall. I feel like for me, it makes them a little trickier. I do prefer just more buildable blushes than this, but there's nothing wrong with these. I really like this. The formula is nice. I believe one of these is dewy and the other one is matte. I prefer the dewy one, but nothing against the matte. So next up are these two Nude Sticks blushes, and I really love these. These are one of my first cream blushes as well. I believe I got Sunset Strip, and then I wanted something more peachy and summery. I believe I bought this in summer of 2019, I think, or 2020. I don't remember. I think it was 2019. and I really love this. This one is more dewy than this one, and these are really, really nice. Buildable. I know I sound like a broken record at this point. And then next up we have the Flower Blush Balm, and this again one of my first kind of blush. I have a lot of first cream blushes apparently, but no, this formula is really, really nice. I love this color. This is the reason why it's ranking so high, is I love the color. Super easy to use, can't really mess it up, can't go in with too much, just blends out like a dream. I do wish it was maybe just a little bit more buildable, but it could also be the shade, but I just love this one. I've been meaning to get more of those. So next up are these Milani blushes, and these are so pigmented. As you could see from the swatches, I mean, just you could easily just like one swipe of this and it's so pigmented, especially on my super pasty skin tone. And I love how dewy these are. They're very, very creamy. They blend into the skin, especially with a finger, so nicely. But yeah, they're just a little bit too pigmented, so I do have to be really, really careful, which is not my favorite thing. All right, we're down to the last 3 cream blush formulas that I have in my collection. So basically number 3 are the Salt New York cream blushes. Now these are very, very new to my collection. I've had these for probably less than a month at this point, and I really, really, really love these. However, these can lift the way that the formula is. These are very sheer, but you can build them up. Absolutely, you can build these up as much as you want, which I really enjoy. But like I said, I have had some issues of them just looking a little patchy, lifting a little bit. So I prefer to use these on like a set cheek. I just find that they don't have that issue as much. Also, these will completely like melt into your skin, so if you have a really, really, really dewy foundation on, you'll probably not get like full day's wear of like 100% like opacity of what you put on in the morning and how they look 8 hours later. These are just super, super creamy. They look very natural on the skin. So while I know it sounds like there's a lot of negatives to these, I just really enjoy them. Like, I really love these colors, especially this one. I know it looks red in the pan, but it's like this gorgeous, just straight up orange, and I love it so much. And this one looks similar to one of the Fenty shades, but it's a bit different actually. All right, second place are the Fenty cream blushes. I love these. I bought, I think, 2 shades, and then I ended up during a 20% off sale just buying pretty much the rest of these shades, except for some of the other shades that I didn't think would really suit my skin tone. But I love these. These are my go-to. These are, again, like, you cannot mess these up. They're very buildable. I find these to be really long-lasting on the cheeks as well. And I just really, really enjoy this formula. I really reach for these a lot. And so the winner is Tower 28. I tried Tower 28 for the first time last year, and I love these, especially this one. I really think I'm going to pan this, like, out of all these blushes, I'm going to pan this first. This is the shade Golden Hour. It's an orange, and I just love this with my skin tone. It's so perfect, and I love the formula. I have never had an issue. You can build this up, but it is really pigmented, so like you can go in like with a really light hand, but there's quite a bit of pigmentation right off the bat, depending obviously how much you pick up. But I love these, love this formula. Probably my favorite formula. I know they released some new shades recently. I'm very tempted, but as you can see, I have quite a bit of cream blushes here to kind of get through, and I don't want them to go bad, so I'm going to skip on them. And it breaks my heart, but these are just absolutely amazing. I would recommend these to anybody who is just trying to dip their toes in and wants to try like a foolproof formula. This is one of those. So is Fenty, I would say, and so is the Flower Blush Balm. I really think that those are kind of the top formulas that are just really easy for anybody who hasn't tried cream blushes yet. So that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite cream blush formula is. Have you tried any of these? Is there another cream blush formula that you absolutely love that you don't see here? Let me know in the comments below. I love talking about cream blush. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's lots of indie makeup, lots of shiny, shifty, and sparkly eyeshadow content, as well as other product videos already up on my channel, so you don't want to miss out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.